Everything in your life, where you are, what you have, who you've become, is the direct reflection of a single hidden force most people never stop to examine. Not your circumstances, not your luck, not your upbringing, but your philosophy. That's right, your personal philosophy, the lens through which you interpret the world, yourself, and every opportunity and challenge is the master architect of your future. Not your boss, not your partner, not your education or background, not even your goals. Because goals without philosophy are like a ship without a compass. Ambition without wisdom is a bullet train with no brakes. Motion without meaning is just noise. You want to change your life? Don't just change your habits. Don't just change your friends. Don't just change your calendar. Change your thinking, your guiding principles, your default beliefs, your non-negotiables about how life works and how you respond to it. Because every decision you make, big or small, is filtered through your philosophy. And if that filter is distorted, broken, or built on excuses, then your future won't be determined by effort. It'll be determined by error. You don't rise to the level of your hustle, you rise, or fall to the level of your understanding. And your understanding comes from the beliefs you've built or borrowed. So let me ask you, who built the blueprint you're following? Was it shaped by thinkers, builders, warriors of truth? Or was it inherited from complainers, cowards, and the comfort obsessed? Because here's the truth. If your life is a reflection, your philosophy is the mirror. If your bank account is inconsistent, your philosophy around money is flawed. If your relationships are shallow, your philosophy around connection is reactive, not intentional. If your energy is drained, your philosophy around discipline and vitality is weak. But the moment you change the way you see, you begin to change the way you move. And that's the beginning of power. Because philosophy isn't theory, it's your operating system. And if your operating system is built on, it's too hard, it's not my fault, success is for other people, then you're running the wrong software for the life you say you want. But if you truly upgrade your personal philosophy to one of ownership, clarity, growth, and truth, then everything starts to shift. You stop reacting and you start responding. You stop waiting and you start working. You stop blaming and you start building. Because now you're driven by principle, not pressure. And principle is stronger than pressure every single. Let me give it to you straight. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because their thinking is lazy. They haven't done the deep, brutal, personal work of asking, what do I believe about success? What do I believe about struggle? What do I believe about me? And those unexamined beliefs are running their life quietly, invisibly, destructively. They believe success is luck, so they wait. They believe money is evil, so they sabotage. They believe discipline is unnatural, so they excuse their inconsistency. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But the answer isn't in changing the world, it's in changing you. The world is neutral. Opportunities don't discriminate, but philosophies do. If you believe the game is rigged, you won't play hard. If you believe people are out to get you, you won't trust anyone long enough to build. If you believe effort doesn't matter, you'll give up right before the breakthrough. But if you believe that life responds to growth, if you believe that value creates wealth, if you believe that character outlasts trend, if you believe that your habits shape your future, then suddenly the world starts to cooperate. Not because the rules changed, but because you did. And you changed your philosophy. You see, Jim Rohn said it best. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. That's the real work. That's the deep work. That's the only work that matters in the long run. And that begins with asking, what are the beliefs I choose to live by? Not the ones handed to me by weak people. Not the ones absorbed from culture. Not the ones I picked up when I was afraid. The ones I've tested. The ones I've seen hold strong under pressure. The ones that elevate my character and keep me aligned when everything else shakes. And I'll tell you this, you'll never outperform your philosophy. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll ruin every good thing you touch. If you believe success requires betrayal, you'll never trust yourself to win. If you believe other people have the power, you'll never unlock your own. But flip that. If you believe excellence is a choice, you'll make it. If you believe obstacles are lessons, you'll study them. If you believe character matters more than image, you'll become unstoppable. So here's the challenge. Don't just upgrade your resume. Upgrade your rules. Upgrade your principles. Upgrade the questions you ask yourself. Upgrade the philosophy that drives every step you take. Because when your philosophy becomes clear, consistent, and powerful, your life starts to match it. Not instantly, but inevitably, because the outside always catches up to the inside. And once the inside is unshakable, the outside becomes undeniable. Because when you've rebuilt the foundation, not your routine, not your goals, not your image, but your philosophy, you no longer need to force results. You attract them. You no longer need to beg for breakthroughs. You become one. Because a man or woman with a solid personal philosophy is no longer swayed by what happens around them. They move according to what's happening within them. They're not emotional wrecks in the face of resistance. They're grounded. They're not desperate for applause. They're driven by alignment. They're not addicted to instant wins. They're committed to long-term wisdom. And that kind of person becomes magnetic. They walk differently. They speak with clarity. They listen with purpose. They act with precision. They radiate peace not because life is perfect, but because they've perfected the way they see life. That's the magic of philosophy. Not fake optimism, not blind hustle, but living truths forged through awareness, ownership, and hard-won experience. You want to build wealth? Your philosophy around value, time, discipline, and delayed gratification better be tight. You want deep relationships? Your philosophy about trust, communication, responsibility, and vulnerability must be mature. You want influence? Your philosophy about integrity, humility, and consistency has to be unbreakable. Everything rests on this. Because in the end, it's not what happens to you that determines your future. It's not what you do once or twice that shapes your destiny. It's how you think every day. It's the values you return to when you're tired. It's the beliefs you live by when nobody's watching. It's the mental frameworks you carry into every room, every call, every conversation. That's where the real battle is fought. And most people lose that battle because they never knew it was happening. They try to change their income without changing their thinking. They try to attract better people without becoming a better person. They try to find peace while believing chaos is inevitable. They try to win the war on the outside with a philosophy that guarantees defeat on the inside. But not you. You're here for something different. You're here to become dangerously aware. Aware of what you believe. Aware of what's driving you. Aware of what you've accepted without question. Aware of what you need to upgrade, not in the world, but in yourself. Because here's what the great ones know. If your philosophy is right, the path will reveal itself. If your philosophy is strong, the storms will shape you, not destroy you. If your philosophy is true, your results will take care of themselves. So stop treating philosophy like it's a luxury for thinkers. It's a requirement for builders. You don't build an empire from emotion. You build it from principle, from internal laws that don't change when your mood does, from beliefs that guide your hand when everything feels uncertain, from truth that overrides temptation. Truth like, discipline beats motivation. Responsibility is freedom. Growth is more important than comfort. And purpose is always more powerful than pressure. These are not cute quotes. They are codes. And if you adopt them, if you own them, you'll never have to chase alignment again. You will be alignment. Your actions will flow. Your energy will focus. Your direction will clarify. And your life will start working not by luck, but by law. By the natural law of cause and effect. The cause, a personal philosophy rooted in truth. The effect, a life that reflects who you became. Because in the end, your life doesn't respond to what you hope for. It responds to who you are. And who you are is shaped by what you believe. So get clear, get ruthless, get intentional. Audit your beliefs like your future depends on it, because it does. Ask, where did this idea come from? Is it true or just popular? Does it make me stronger or weaker? Does it lead to freedom or fear? Is it based in truth or comfort? And when you find a broken piece of your philosophy, replace it. Not with something trendy, not with something that sounds good on social media, but with something that works. Because the proof of a philosophy isn't how it sounds in theory, it's what it produces in reality. And if your philosophy doesn't produce strength, clarity, peace, direction, discipline, and purpose, it's not true enough. It's not strong enough. It's not yours yet. So make it yours. Write it. Refine it. Live it. Then watch how your life aligns around it like gravity. Not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. Because you stopped floating with trends and started building on truth. And now life bends toward you. Because when life bends toward you, it's not magic. It's not the universe doing you a favor. It's not coincidence or chance. It's alignment. It's the result of a human being who finally said, I will no longer live by accident. I will live by design. And design is rooted in philosophy. Not just what you believe on good days, but what you hold on to in chaos. Not just what sounds nice in theory, but what survives the weight of your reality. Because let me tell you something. Real life doesn't care what you say you believe. It only responds to what you actually do. So if your philosophy says, I value health, but your actions say comfort food and skipped workouts, then health isn't part of your philosophy, it's part of your fantasy. If your philosophy says, I believe in growth, but your life is built around avoiding challenge, then growth is not your truth, it's your costume. And the world sees through it. But when your philosophy becomes embodied, when your beliefs become habits, when your convictions become discipline, when your standards become automatic, you stop needing motivation altogether. Because now, you are the motivation. You are the standard. You walk into a room, and people feel it not because you're loud, but because you're centered. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you've built something inside that can't be shaken by anyone. That's the power of philosophy lived out. It's quiet. It's steady. It's relentless. And it multiplies. Your clarity gives others permission to clear their fog. Your discipline reminds others of their potential. Your truth spoken not just in words, but in how you live, becomes a torch that lights up every space you enter. You're not trying to be inspiring. You're simply aligned. And alignment is magnetic. That's what this world is starving for. Not more information, not more hype, but more embodied wisdom. More people whose lives match their mouths. More people who mean what they say and live what they believe. More people who have a clear why, a grounded how, and an unshakable what for. Because when you know your what, for your purpose, your mission, your core, then no circumstance, no betrayal, no detour can take you off the path for long. You might fall, but you rise with more force. You might doubt, but you return to truth faster. You might face resistance, but you walk through it taller. Because your foundation is internal. Your philosophy leads the way. And when philosophy leads, fear follows behind. Not because fear disappears, but because it doesn't get to drive anymore. Your faith does. Your conviction does. Your clarity does. And you become the rarest kind of human. The kind who knows who they are and lives it relentlessly, unapologetically, quietly powerful. That's the new standard. That's the person who wins, not just at work or money or influence, but in life, wins peace, wins respect, wins self-trust, wins alignment between what they do, what they believe, and who they're becoming. And if you've listened this far, you already know this isn't about tips and tricks. This isn't about hacks. This isn't about looking successful. It's about being someone no obstacle can bend, no lie can weaken, no distraction can buy. Because your mind is yours now. Your soul is anchored. And your path, no matter how unpredictable, is yours to walk. And that is power most people will never know because they're still begging for someone to hand it to them. But you built it. You rewrote the code. You redesigned the map. You chose truth over trends. You chose principles over popularity. You chose wisdom over comfort. You chose to stop letting the world shape your philosophy and started shaping your world through it. And now, your life is starting to mirror it. Your outcomes are starting to align. Not because you forced anything, but because you finally understood. Your personal philosophy, not your environment, not your talent, not your status, is the major factor in how your life turns out. So protect it, refine it, build it like your future depends on it, because it does. And never forget this truth. The world will reflect your philosophy long after it forgets your name. But you'll remember because you lived it. And that is the legacy. There's a voice inside you, and it's been whispering since the day life got hard, since the moment things didn't go your way, since the night you cried behind closed doors and asked, "Why is this so difficult?" And the voice didn't say, "It will get easier." It said something stronger. It said, "You will get better." But somewhere along the way, that voice got drowned out by the noise, the complaints, the blaming, the excuses dressed up like reasons. If only my job was better. If only I had more time. If only someone helped me. That voice, the one born for growth, built for greatness, got quieter. But it's still there. It's waiting, not for the world to change, not for the odds to shift. It's waiting for you to rise. You've got to stop asking for life to be easier. You've got to stop waiting for the road to smooth out, for the storms to calm, for the struggle to vanish. Because that's not how greatness is made. That's how weakness is fed. Every hero you admire, every legend you quote, every success story you envy, they all faced the same mountain. They all stared down the same storms. The only difference? They stopped wishing for an easier climb. They trained to become stronger climbers. And that, right there, is the shift that rewrites your entire story. You don't need lighter burdens. You need broader shoulders. You don't need more comfort, you need more courage. You don't need fewer problems. You need stronger principles. Because life will not bend to your feelings. It will test them. It will demand proof. It will ask, "Are you who you say you are?" And the only acceptable answer is action. Don't wish for less pain, get stronger through it. Don't wish for no obstacles, become someone who turns them into stepping stones. Don't beg for mercy, build mastery. Because the world doesn't give handouts, it gives feedback. And right now, the struggle you're facing is not there to break you, it's there to build you. But only if you stop running from it. Only if you stop blaming, numbing, hiding, escaping. Only if you decide that growth is not optional, it's the only option. You want success? Then stop making wishes and start making changes. You want a better life? Then become a better version of you. Because your external world will always reflect your internal standard. Raise your standard, your life will follow. Sharpen your mindset, your outcomes will align. Discipline your habits, and everything around you begins to shift. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's not destiny. It's design. And you are the architect. But you can't build a masterpiece with the tools of mediocrity. You can't create a future worth living with the attitude of a victim. You've got to toughen your spirit. You've got to train your mind to see difficulty not as punishment, but as preparation. You've got to teach yourself that pressure is not the enemy, it's the proving ground. You say you want success, then show me how you respond when it's hard. Do you shrink? Do you blame? Do you disappear? Or do you stand up? Do you lean in? Do you double down? Because that is the test. The challenge isn't there to punish you, it's there to reveal you. And once you're revealed, you get to rebuild. You get to rise. You get to become better. Better in focus, better in discipline, better in resilience, better in truth. And no, it won't be easy. But that's the point. Easy never made anyone exceptional. Easy never taught you grit. Easy never gave you backbone. Easy never introduced you to the strongest version of yourself. It's the hard that carves the legend. It's the struggle that forges the strength. It's the rejection that sharpens the resolve. So stop wishing. Stop waiting. Stop bargaining with life like it owes you something. It doesn't. But it offers you everything if you're willing to become the person who can earn it. Because that's the truth about success most people won't tell you. It doesn't go to the smartest. It doesn't go to the luckiest. It goes to the one who refuses to stay the same. The one who adapts faster. The one who listens deeper. The one who works while others whine. The one who sharpens their edge when others dull theirs with comfort. That person, that version of you, is not a fantasy. It's a decision. A decision to trade convenience for consistency. To trade pity for power. To trade dreams for discipline. You don't need a new year, a new month, or a new moment to begin. You need a new mindset, and you need it now. So hear this. Every time you say, I can't, you hand your power to the problem. Every time you say, it's too hard, you invite defeat into your identity. Every time you say, it's not fair, you declare yourself helpless. But every time you say, I'll find a way, you become stronger. Every time you say, this will grow me, you become wiser. Every time you say, I will rise, you do. Because words are not just sounds, they're seeds. And what you plant, you grow. So plant courage, plant commitment, plant self-respect, and watch what happens. Watch your clarity increase. Watch your energy rise. Watch your results begin to shift, not because the world got easier, but because you got sharper. And the truth is, the struggle isn't going away. The difference is, soon it won't bother you, because you'll stop seeing it as a problem and start using it as a platform to demonstrate strength, a platform to build confidence, a platform to show the world who you are, and more importantly, to show yourself who you're becoming. You'll walk into every challenge with a new mindset. Not why me, but try me. Not make it easier, but watch me get better. Because that shift from complaint to command, from reaction to response, is where your transformation begins. Not in some future moment where everything aligns, but here, where things are messy, where things are complicated, where the odds aren't in your favor yet. This is the arena, and it's not reserved for the perfect. It's built for the prepared. You've got to stop waiting for confidence and start cultivating competence. Confidence doesn't fall out of the sky. It grows from action. It's built rep by rep, decision by decision, moment by moment when you choose growth over comfort. You don't become a leader because people follow you. You become a leader because you start following through on your word, on your goals, on the promises you've made to yourself. Because the harsh truth is this: most people lie to themselves every single day. They say they're committed until it gets hard. They say they want change, but resist everything that requires it. They say they're chasing greatness, but settle for convenience the moment it costs something. Don't be most people. Be the exception. Be the one who means it. Be the one who doesn't have to shout about their ambition, because their life speaks it in every action, every result, every mile walked in silence when everyone else was looking for applause. There's no glory in hoping the world gets easier. There's only power in knowing you will get better. You'll get better at showing up. You'll get better at staying focused. You'll get better at controlling your emotions, managing your energy, choosing your environment. You'll get better at ignoring distractions and locking in on what matters. You'll get better at saying no to the good, so you can say yes to the great. You'll get better at doing things even when you don't feel like it, especially then, because that's when character is shaped, when the emotion fades and the mission still leads. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you showed up with excellence, not because someone expected it, but because you did? When's the last time you held the line for you? Not for approval, not for applause, but because it was right. That's the separator. That's what defines you. It's not about the results, it's about the refusal to become lazy with your standards. Because when your standards rise, your world changes. Not immediately, not dramatically, but undeniably. Suddenly, people treat you differently. Opportunities start appearing. Doors start opening. Not because of luck, but because of alignment. The world begins to reflect your new level. You become someone that challenge doesn't scare anymore. Someone that excuses can't reach anymore. Someone that failure can't define anymore. And that's when you finally understand life was never meant to be easy. It was meant to elevate you. But only if you were willing to meet it face to face and say, let's go. Because wishing is not strategy. Hope is not a habit. Improvement is not a coincidence. Better is built in discomfort, built in struggle, built in the decision to rise while others retreat. And every time you do, every single time you step closer to the version of you that doesn't wish they work, the one who doesn't complain, they compete. The one who doesn't beg, they build. And that version is the real you, the one behind the hesitation, the one buried beneath old stories and tired excuses, the one who's been waiting not for permission but for decision, the decision to evolve, to take full ownership, to stop negotiating with weakness, to stop worshiping comfort like it's a god, and to embrace the truth that everything you want, everything you're capable of, everything you were meant for, lives on the other side of becoming better. Not bitter, not broken, not why me, better. So ask yourself, what have you been avoiding because it's hard? What have you been delaying because it's uncomfortable? What gift have you buried because you're afraid you're not ready? You don't need ready. You need real. You need raw effort. You need unshakable resolve. You need to remember that the pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. So stop playing small, stop playing weak, and start playing for real. Because this is your life, and it will not wait for you to get brave, but it will reward you the moment you do. So don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Then get to work and become it. Because this is the turning point, the invisible moment, where most turn back, but you go forward. This is where the climb gets steeper, where the voices of doubt get louder, where the pain sharpens, where the reward hides just beyond your breaking point. And this is where most people stop, not because they can't go on, but because they chose not to. But not you. You've made a new vow to stop negotiating with fear, to stop entertaining the voice that says ease is the goal, to stop believing that you're supposed to feel ready before you begin. You are ready, not because it's easy, but because you've decided. You've decided that excellence is your identity now, not a phase, not a project, not a mood. And excellence is not accidental, it is chosen, it is trained, it is lived. It shows up in your discipline when you say yes to the things that build you and no to the things that break you. It shows up in your belief when the world questions your worth, but you walk with certainty because you've already settled that question internally. It shows up in your clarity when distractions knock, but your vision is louder. It shows up in your purpose when you move with meaning, not motion. And it shows up in your actions when you stop waiting for motivation and start manufacturing momentum. That's when life shifts. Not because the challenge disappears, but because you've become the kind of person who runs toward it. Because better doesn't avoid resistance, better invites it. It understands. The struggle is the stimulus. The resistance is the gym for your spirit. The pressure is the price of growth and you're willing to pay it. You stop playing to survive. You start playing to dominate. You stop thinking, how long will this take? And start thinking, how far can I go? You start waking up not just with goals, but with grit. And every step forward, even the small ones, become statements. I refuse to be ordinary. I refuse to let my potential expire in excuses. I refuse to hand my destiny to convenience. Because there is no convenience in becoming powerful. There is only commitment. There is only the day-by-day, brick-by-brick, habit-by-habit construction of a life so solid that even if the world collapses, you won't. Why? Because you were never built on ease. You were built on better. Every time you lifted yourself out of bed when your mind told you to rest. Every time you spoke truth when silence was safer. Every time you stood tall when insecurity tried to shrink you. That wasn't just effort. That was identity. The identity of someone who doesn't bow to difficulty, they become greater through it. You want to build wealth? Then build wisdom first. You want influence? Then master integrity. You want success? Then show me what you do when no one is watching, because that's the real you. And the real you doesn't need easier conditions. They need unshakable character. The kind forged in the fire. Refined through resistance. Strengthened by sweat. Sharpened by silence. Tested by trial. And proven by perseverance. So don't wish the pressure would leave. Learn to breathe inside it. Don't wish the weight would vanish. Grow strong enough to carry it with purpose. Because on the other side of pressure is purpose. On the other side of resistance is revelation. On the other side of struggle is the strongest, clearest, most unbreakable version of you. And that version of you is no longer waiting. They're already waking up earlier. They're already reading while others scroll. They're already working while others whine. They're already sharpening their craft while others dull their edge with distraction. Because better isn't a feeling. It's a fire. And once it's lit, you feed it daily. With intention. With standards. With sacrifice. With a refusal to let your potential be caged by comfort. Because comfort doesn't create champions, discipline does. And discipline is not punishment. It's power. It's saying, yes, I'm tired, but I go anyway. Yes, it's tough, but I show up anyway. Yes, the world is heavy, but I refuse to carry it like a victim. Because you are not made for average. You were made for impact. You were made for the days when it's hard and you rise anyway. For the moments when it hurts and you push anyway. For the chapters that look impossible, but you write them anyway. So hear me when I say this. The life you want is possible, but it won't arrive because you wished. It will arrive because you worked. It will arrive because you refused to quit. It will arrive because you became better long before the world said you were. And when it does, when the results start showing up, when the growth starts compounding, when the people who doubted you start asking how you did it, you won't say, it got easier. You'll say, I got better. And when you say it, I got better, you'll say it with a quiet power. Not arrogance, not noise, but the grounded strength of someone who earned their transformation. Because deep down, you'll know the truth. You didn't get lucky. You didn't stumble into success. You built it with sweat, with sacrifice, with sleepless nights, and silent battles no one else ever saw. You'll know what it cost, and you'll never trade it back. Because once you become better, truly better, the old life, the old mindset, the old excuses, they feel foreign. They feel fake. They feel small. You'll look back, not with regret, but with gratitude. Because every hard thing you faced became a hammer, and every hammer stroke shaped you into a force, into a standard, into someone no longer driven by motivation, but by mission. Because that's what better really means. It doesn't mean richer, or more famous, or more followed. It means more solid, more rooted in truth, more grounded in principles, more aligned with purpose, more in love with the process than obsessed with the outcome. Better means you've stopped chasing validation because you've found your value in your own work. Better means you stopped asking life to give you more and started giving more to life. Your attention, your energy, your patience, your excellence. Because now you understand life doesn't owe you anything, but it offers you everything if you become someone who deserves it. So stop trying to be impressive. Start becoming irreplaceable. The most irreplaceable people in this world are not the flashiest. They're the most dependable. They show up. They execute. They finish. They rise. They rise when it's raining. They rise when it's heavy. They rise when it's unfair. They rise when others are stuck wishing and they're working because they get it. They don't pray for lighter loads. They train for stronger legs. They don't hope for easy outcomes. They build unshakable outcomes through consistent input. They don't chase. They create. And so will you. From now on, this is your identity. The one who doesn't need the world to change because you're changing yourself. The one who doesn't need the road to be clear because you'll build a path through chaos. The one who no longer runs from difficulty because you understand that pressure doesn't block your progress. It proves it. So when life gets hard or good, that means the test is real. That means the growth is close. That means the breakthrough is near. Let others collapse. You stand. Let others shrink. You expand. Let others retreat. You advance. Because the one who advances day by day, inch by inch, habit by habit, becomes unbeatable. And hear me. You are not here to cope. You are here to conquer. You are not here to make it through. You are here to rise above. You are not here to fit in. You are here to reshape the room you walk into. But only if you stop running from the fire and become the one who walks through it, forged and focused. So, build yourself daily. Read when it's easier to scroll. Think when it's easier to follow. Move when it's easier to stall. Speak truth when silence is comfortable. Hold the line when the world wants you to bend. Because that's what better does. Better isn't loud, but it echoes. Better doesn't scream, but it lasts. Better isn't desperate because it's disciplined. And here's the beautiful part. Anyone can choose it. Anyone can wake up today and say, this is the day I stop wishing and I start working. This is the day I stop hoping the world makes room for me and I carve out my own place in it. This is the day I stop asking if I'm enough and I become more than enough because I choose better over easy. And when you do, your habits change. Your posture changes. Your circle changes. Your outcomes begin to catch up to your new identity. Because everything around you is a reflection of what's inside you. And when you rise, everything else does too. So don't wait another day. Don't postpone your greatness for when it's convenient. Don't bargain with your potential like it's optional. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Then do what the better version of you would do right now, not tomorrow. Now, because this is the moment it all crystallizes. This is the moment where the line gets drawn between the old you and the unshakable you. The moment where something inside says, no more. No more halfway effort. No more waiting for motivation. No more pretending you don't have what it takes. Because you do. You always have. You just haven't demanded it from yourself consistently. But that ends now. Right here in this breath, in this moment, in this decision, the fire is lit. Not the kind that burns out in a week, but the kind that never dies. The kind that wakes you up before the alarm. That pushes you through the extra rep. That keeps you in the room when everyone else walks out. That reminds you, you are not average. You are just underestimating yourself. But you see it now. You see that wishing doesn't change your life. Working does. That wanting doesn't build your future. Willing does. That complaining doesn't make you strong. Commitment does. And that's the new oath you take. To live by will, not want. To lead by example, not ego. To rise through principle, not popularity. Because the world is full of noise. But your discipline will cut through it. The world is full of shortcuts, but your standard will expose them. The world is full of dreamers, but your daily actions will separate you. That's your edge. That's your legacy. That's your becoming. Because the goal isn't just to be inspired. It's to be transformed. To live in such a way that your effort becomes inevitable success, that your presence becomes its own form of influence, that your work speaks louder than your words ever could. Because now you know. No one's coming to make this easier. There is no magic. There is only mastery. And mastery is earned in the moments when no one claps, in the days that test your heart, in the weeks you want to quit, in the years where most would have settled. But not you. You're not hoping anymore. You're becoming. You're not waiting anymore. You're working. You're not asking life to go easy on you. You're asking, what's next? Because better is now your identity. Better is how you rise. Better is how you respond. Better is how you lead. Better is how you live. So let them doubt you. Let the path get harder. Let the pressure increase. Let life challenge you. You've already decided. You don't wish it were easier. You wish you were better. And now you are. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're casting a vote. Not with your politics, not with your voice, but with your actions. Every morning when you wake up and reach for your phone or your purpose, that's a vote. Every time you hit snooze or rise with fire, that's a vote. Every time you choose comfort over clarity, distraction over discipline, delay over decision, you're voting. You're voting for the kind of life you will live. You're voting for the kind of person you will become. Because your habits are never neutral. They are either working for you or against you. They are either building you or breaking you. They are either preparing you or paralyzing you. There is no middle. There is no pause. There is no just this once. There is only direction, forward or backward. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And most people, without realizing it, are engineering a life they will one day beg to escape, one small unconscious action at a time. Habits shape your destiny in silence. They don't shout, they whisper. They don't command, they nudge. But over time, those nudges become a path, and that path becomes a prison or a promise. And that is the truth most ignore. Your habits are not just routines. They are votes for your future. They are the architects of your outcome. And if you're not paying attention, you might be building a reality you never meant to live in. You don't need dramatic change. You need consistent alignment. You need to look your life in the eye and ask, what am I practicing? Because what you practice, you become. If you practice procrastination, you become unreliable. If you practice gratitude, you become abundant. If you practice self-discipline, you become unstoppable. Most people are rehearsing the wrong identity. They say they want success, but they practice escape. They say they want excellence, but they practice excuses. They say they want greatness, but their habits scream mediocrity. And habits never lie. They reveal, they expose, they predict. If I want to know where your life is going, I don't need to ask about your dreams. I need to watch your days. Because your future doesn't live in your desires, it lives in your daily disciplines. Do you rise with intention? Do you guard your time? Do you move when it's hard? Do you finish what you start? Or do you float, reacting, surviving, making just enough effort to stay afloat, but never enough to soar? Every master you admire, every leader you envy, every story that stirred your soul, it was not luck. It was not magic. It was not genetics. It was habitual excellence. Small things done well. Repeated, refined, protected, elevated. They didn't wake up extraordinary. They became it one disciplined action at a time. And you can too. But you must start by breaking the myth that success is dramatic. It isn't. Success is not a single moment. It's not the applause. It's not the stage. It's not the finish line. Success is silent. It's boring. It's hidden in the hours where no one is watching. It's built in the early mornings, in the quiet repetitions, in the unglamorous work. You want transformation? Start with what you do when no one's clapping, because that's the real you. That's the version the world eventually meets and believes. So audit your habits. Audit your mornings. Audit your thinking. Audit what you do when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're tempted. That's where your destiny is decided. Do you reach for distraction or for discipline? Do you react or do you respond? Do you run from the hard thing or do you lean into it? And most importantly, do your habits reflect the future you say you want? You say you want to be wealthy, but are you practicing financial wisdom or financial fantasy? You say you want to be fit, but are you moving daily or just watching others do it? You say you want to lead, but are you training your mind, refining your words, controlling your emotions? If not, then your habits are betraying you. And every day you keep those habits alive, you are volunteering for a life beneath your potential. You are choosing frustration. You are choosing limitation. You are choosing to stay small. And I know that's not who you are. That's who you've practiced being. But the good news? Practice can change. Identity can evolve. Trajectories can be altered by the power of new habits. Because habits don't just shape behavior, they shape belief. You don't believe in yourself first and then act accordingly. You act differently, and then belief begins to form around your new behavior. Confidence doesn't come from thinking, it comes from execution. You build confidence when you do hard things. When you say you'll show up and then you show up. When you do what you said you would long after the mood has left the room. And this is where most fall. They confuse motivation with momentum. They think they need to feel good to act. But the pros know you act your way into feeling. You move your way into confidence. You stack wins until belief is no longer theory, it's identity. So stack the wins. Stack them in silence. Stack them in struggle. Stack them when no one notices. Stack them when you don't even notice. Because the compound interest of small aligned actions will always outperform the grand gestures of the inconsistent. The world is filled with people who start strong and fade fast. But the ones who last, the ones who lead, the ones who win, are the ones whose habits do the heavy lifting when their energy is gone. It's not about intensity. It's about identity in motion. You become what you endure, and habits help you endure. They keep you moving when your mind wants to stop. They anchor you when emotion tries to hijack your discipline. They remind you, this is what we do. This is who we are. You see, weak habits whisper comfort. Strong habits scream destiny. So choose carefully. Every habit you keep is a prophecy you're writing with your hands. It will come true not because of magic, but because you repeated it. You repeated the laziness. You repeated the scrolling. You repeated the complaining. And now it's who you think you are. But it's not who you are. It's just who you've practiced being. So practice again. Start a new pattern. You're not broken, you're untrained. Discipline is not a gift. It's a skill. Consistency is not a personality trait. It's a choice. And you must choose every single day to build a life where your habits match your dreams. Because here's the truth that will punch you in the gut. If your habits don't change, your life won't either. No matter how badly you want it, no matter how much you pray for it, no matter how deeply you journal about it, your results are rooted in your rhythms. And if your rhythms are toxic, if they are chaotic, if they are reactive, if they are weak, your life will mirror that weakness back to you in full clarity. So don't ask, what do I want? Ask, what am I training for every day? If you train for distraction, don't be surprised when your focus collapses. If you train for indulgence, don't be shocked when your discipline fades. If you train for mediocrity, don't act surprised when greatness avoids you. You are always becoming something, every day, every moment. The only question is it on purpose? Or are you just drifting, defaulting to comfort, surviving your days instead of sculpting them? You were not born to drift. You were built to design, to shape, to form, to forge your future. And forging requires fire. the fire of doing what's hard, the fire of consistency, the fire of waking up and choosing your vision over your vices, the fire of self-control, the fire of long-term thinking. Because long-term thinking is what separates the amateurs from the masters. Amateurs act based on how they feel. Masters act based on who they are becoming. And the bridge between where you are and who you could be is habit. So if you want to change your life, stop looking outside. Stop looking for better timing. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop asking for motivation. Audit the machine that runs you, your habits, and rebuild it. Rebuild it with intention. Rebuild it with clarity. Rebuild it with purpose. Rebuild mornings that command the day, not chase it. Rebuild routines that ignite your body and brain before the world makes demands. Rebuild inputs that nourish you instead of numbing you. Because your input is your identity. You become what you consume. You echo what you repeat. You live what you allow. So raise your standard. No more just 5 minutes. No more just this once. No more I'll start Monday. Your life isn't waiting for Monday. Your future isn't paused. It's moving with or without you. The question is, are your habits moving with it? Or are they anchoring you to the version of yourself that you say you want to escape? Be honest. Because honesty is the first habit of freedom. Then we go deeper into the furnace, where real transformation is forged. Because until you face your habits with ruthless honesty, you will keep telling yourself stories to excuse the stagnation. I'm just tired. I'm just not a morning person. I just need a break. No, what you need is truth. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not unmotivated. You're malnourished, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And you're not confused. You're avoiding clarity because clarity demands action. Because once you know what needs to change, the only thing left is to change it. And that terrifies people. So they bury themselves in distraction, in the ritual of busyness, in the addiction to the comfortable. But let me tell you something sacred. Your comfort zone is a padded cell. It looks safe, it feels soft, but it's a prison. And your habits are the warden. You want freedom? Build the habits that demand freedom. Discipline is freedom. Focus is freedom. Responsibility is freedom. And when your habits align with these, you no longer have to fake confidence. You live it. You no longer chase success. You attract it. You no longer beg the world to notice you. The world can't look away because you become the rare one, the dangerous one, the consistent one, the one who moves forward while others wait for motivation. And let's be clear, you don't need to be extreme, you need to be consistent. It's not about 10-hour workdays. It's about showing up every day with intentional effort. It's not about cutting out everything. It's about removing what steals your focus. It's not about working harder than everyone else. It's about working on the right things longer than most people are willing. Because your habits don't just shape your day, they compound into decades. One habit, one small change, one small standard, raised. That's how it begins. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages. Stretch. Write. Call the client. Take the walk. Eat the fuel, not the feeling. Turn off the noise. Say no. Say yes. Do the rep. Keep the promise. Every one of these is a vote, a line in the sand. And the more you vote, the more you become. Until one day, the old you feels foreign. Until one day, your habits are no longer a fight. They are a force. And that's when you become dangerous. To your excuses, to your old story, to every limit you thought was permanent. But none of this will happen by accident. You have to decide right now that the way you've been living is no longer acceptable. That mediocrity is not your home. That potential with no discipline is still regret. Draw the line, burn the lie, and build the system that serves your purpose. Because habits are just systems. And systems never fail. They produce exactly what they're designed for. If your system is chaos, your result will be struggle. If your system is alignment, your result will be inevitable. So fix the system, the morning, the night, the calendar, the boundaries, the standards, and then protect it with the fury of someone who finally knows their worth. Because no one is coming to save you from the habits that are destroying you quietly. And no one is coming to build the ones that will elevate you daily. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your power. And it is power not the kind you post about, but the kind that pulses through your veins when you do what needs to be done. When you rise without being told, when you execute without applause, when you keep showing up, not because someone's watching, but because you are. That is real power. That is unshakable. That is rare. And when you build habits rooted in that level of integrity, something extraordinary happens. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop giving the lazy voice in your head a seat at the table. You stop letting your moods manage your movements. You stop asking for ease and start demanding excellence. Because by now you know the truth. Your habits are not just about productivity. They are about identity. They are your way of saying, this is who I am. So who are you becoming? What are you rehearsing every day? Because repetition is reputation. And if you do it enough times, you will believe it's you. You can't outthink bad habits. You have to outbehave them. You can't just want new outcomes. You have to earn them through new patterns. You can't just dream of freedom. You have to discipline your way into it. The results will come, but only after the rhythm becomes real. And yes, there will be days you fall, days you miss, days you break the streak, days where it feels like you're crawling through wet cement just to hold on to progress. Good. That's when the breakthrough is closest. Because discipline doesn't mean never falling, it means never quitting. And habits don't break when life is easy. They forge when life is hard, and you keep going anyway. You keep the promise to yourself, even when the world gives you permission not to. That's the victory no one sees. But that victory builds the life everyone notices later. Because eventually, results speak. Eventually, the compound effect of your habits becomes unignorable. Eventually, the person who simply refused to quit becomes the person everyone wants to become. And when that day comes, when the lights finally hit you, when the recognition arrives, when the success shows up like it was always supposed to, you won't be surprised. Because you'll know how you got there. You'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't fate. It wasn't overnight. It was repetition. It was resolve. It was rising again and again while the rest fell asleep on their dreams. That's how you win. That's how you build. That's how you rise. One habit at a time. So let's keep going. Let's finish what we started, because that's what builders do. You don't start to impress. You don't begin to be praised. You begin to become. You build because it's who you are becoming that matters more than what you're achieving. And you stay with it long after the applause fades, long after the motivation cools, long after the inspiration wears off, because your life is no longer about chasing moods. It's about choosing mastery. Mastery doesn't show up one day and introduce itself. Mastery arrives quietly after years of repetition, after countless small decisions that the undisciplined called unimportant. But there is nothing unimportant about your habits, because each one is either adding power to your future or stealing momentum from it. Each one is either feeding the identity you want or reinforcing the one you hate. Each one is either making you stronger or slowly taking you out of the game. So ask yourself, and do it without flinching, what am I tolerating in my daily routine that's costing me my destiny? Because tolerance is silent sabotage. The 5 minutes wasted. The bite you said didn't matter. The call you didn't return. The book you didn't finish. The standard you let slip. Just this once. But just this once is the seed of every failure. Just this once is how you lose a decade. Just this once is how legacies are destroyed before they ever get built. You want to live a different life? You must demand different patterns. You must upgrade your expectations. You must audit your actions. You must protect your momentum like it's sacred because it is. You are not just living. You are compounding. Every moment, every move, every repeated behavior is compounding into something permanent. So decide right now what you want to be permanent. Not just in your results, but in your reputation with yourself. That's the real war. The battle between who you used to be and who you're becoming. And habits are the battleground. You're not fighting others. You're fighting the old you, the one who justified quitting, the one who called discipline obsession, the one who chose comfort over calling, but not anymore. Not now. Because today, you don't need more motivation. You need clarity. Clarity that every decision you make, every behavior you repeat, every standard you hold is creating a ripple effect. One that doesn't just change your day, it changes your life. So raise the standard. Make your habits your allies. Make them sacred. Make them non-negotiable. Make them so bulletproof that not even failure can derail you. Because when your habits are aligned, discipline becomes easier, success becomes expected, and your potential finally becomes real. Then let's go all the way. Let's bring it home. Because this is not just a lesson. It's a line in the sand, a reckoning, a reset, a rebirth. It is the moment where you decide to stop living life by default and start living life by design. You were not born for chaos. You were not born for random. You were not born to repeat the same tired loops just because that's what everyone does. You were born to lead yourself. And leadership starts with habits. The habits of how you think, especially when doubt creeps in. The habits of how you speak, especially when no one is listening. The habits of how you act, especially when it's hard, thankless, boring, or unseen. That's the forge. That's where identity is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not in celebration, but in the quiet corners of your day, where your decisions whisper the future into form. So what's whispering in your life right now? Is it clarity or confusion? Focus or fragmentation? Vision or just noise? Because your life is listening. And every time you act, it takes note. Every time you hit snooze, life hears it. Every time you ignore your calling, life records it. Every time you settle for a lesser version of yourself, life responds accordingly. But the opposite is also true. Every time you choose the harder path, life honors it. Every time you keep the promise, life magnifies it. Every time you say yes to the version of you that scares you, life expands around it. So don't wait for life to change before you do. You go first. Your habits go first. Your standard goes first. Because the only way to change your results is to change your rhythm. And rhythm is power. Rhythm is momentum. Rhythm is how giants are built not overnight, but over time. You want to make more money? Fix your financial habits. You want to be fit? Fix your physical rituals. You want to be respected? Fix how you treat your time when no one is watching. You want to be free? Then act like someone who deserves to be. Because freedom is not found. It's earned through sweat, through silence, through the steady pounding of the hammer against the iron of discipline. That's what this is. You are forging a self that cannot be shaken. You are welding together identity and action so tightly, they become one. So that when people ask how you got here, you don't need to explain. You show them with your life, with your consistency, with your undeniable results. Because you didn't just know what to do. You did it. While others talked, you trained. While others waited, you built. While others blamed, you owned. And while others hoped, you acted. That's the difference. That's what makes you dangerous. Not your knowledge, but your execution. Not your talent, but your follow-through. Not your dreams, but your habits. Because in the end, the ones who rise, the ones who lead, the ones who truly win are not the ones with perfect plans. They're the ones who perfected the practice over and over and over again. So rise up now, not with noise, but with resolve. Recommit to your habits. Rebuild your patterns. Redesign your life one repeated action at a time. And let every step say, my habits are working for me. My future is not an accident. And I will not be denied by the person I used to be. There's something you never get back. Something more expensive than failure. More fatal than fear. More powerful than talent. It's time. The silent currency of your life. And every single second is being spent. The only question is, are you investing it or wasting it? Because whether you rise or remain, whether you build or break, whether you thrive or disappear quietly into the crowd, will be determined by how you manage time. And the truth is, time isn't the problem. You have enough time. 24 hours, the same as every legend who ever lived. The problem is attention. The problem is intention. The problem is what you're allowing to steal the most sacred currency you'll ever hold. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. Because time is not something you spend when convenient. It's something you command. And if you don't learn to command your time, the world will consume it for you. Every scroll is a withdrawal. Every meaningless conversation is a withdrawal. Every hour spent chasing dopamine instead of destiny is a permanent theft from the life you could have built. And once it's gone, it's gone. No refunds, no do-overs, only regrets for those who never learned how to lead their life on purpose. So how do the great ones do it? How do the high performers, the unstoppable, the producers of massive impact, manage time without wasting it? They don't just fill a calendar. They own a rhythm. They build systems. They protect their focus like it's sacred, because it is. And it starts with a ruthless, unapologetic mindset shift. You stop asking, what do I have time for? You start asking, what must get done for me to live aligned with the future I'm creating? That question changes everything. It deletes distractions. It filters your yes. It activates a version of you that doesn't just survive the day, but designs it. The successful don't manage time. They multiply it. They create leverage. They don't wake up reacting. They wake up with ritual, not from a place of rigidity, but from reverence. Because they understand that every block of time is an altar. And what you sacrifice on that altar determines what you experience in your life. Want peace? Then schedule it. Want freedom? Then earn it through structure. Want success? Then build days that make it inevitable. Start by killing the myth of multitasking. You are not meant to divide your genius across 5 apps, 3 conversations, and 10 browser tabs. You are meant to go deep, to focus with intensity, to move with clarity, to lock into one thing and extract every ounce of excellence out of it. Because depth creates mastery. And mastery is what creates speed in the long run. You want to stop wasting time? Then stop letting shallow tasks steal your peak energy. Stop giving your highest hours to your lowest value tasks. Protect your mornings. Defend your deep work like a warrior. Build a fortress around the first 2 hours of your day, because how you start is how you scale. And this isn't about being busy. Busy is a trap. Busy is a disguise. Busy feels productive, but it's usually just motion without direction. You don't need motion. You need movement with meaning, with map, with mission. That means every minute must serve the vision. Every task must earn its way onto your calendar. Every person must deserve your time or be denied it without apology. Not from arrogance, but from alignment. Because when you know what matters, you stop giving time to what doesn't. then let's keep going, because time doesn't slow down for those who hesitate. It only honors those who move with authority. You see, once you've taken back your mornings, once you've cut the noise, blocked the leeches, shut down the open loops, you still have to do one thing most people avoid their whole lives. Decide. Decide what matters most. Because not everything is equal. Not every task deserves the same energy. Not every opportunity is aligned with your purpose. Time management without clarity is just chaos with a planner. You must decide with ruthless clarity what moves the needle, what creates the most value, what builds the most momentum, what aligns the most with who you're becoming. And when you know that, your calendar becomes sacred ground. You don't fill your day with tasks. You design your day with targets, outcomes, non-negotiables, battles worth winning. 3 to 5, no more. 3 to 5 moves per day that, if executed relentlessly, create more progress than 100 scattered motions. Because the person who tries to do everything ends up doing nothing that matters. But the one who focuses like a sniper builds legacies. So, structure your day like an empire. Morning for momentum, midday for mastery, evening for review and recalibration. You don't end the day by collapsing into your bed from exhaustion. You end it by closing the loop with excellence. What did I win today? What needs to shift tomorrow? What did I learn? And how will I use it? That simple review, that sacred 5 minutes of reflection, turns scattered effort into strategic momentum. And when you do that consistently, days become weeks. Weeks become empires. And time begins to submit to your structure. Because here's the secret. You don't manage time. You manage your energy inside of time. And when your energy is directed by discipline, when your focus is directed by clarity, when your decisions are directed by purpose, time becomes your servant, not your master. You don't run out of time. You run it. You command it. You use it with precision. And in doing so, you begin to create what most people only fantasize about. A life that reflects your vision, not your distractions. This is how you stop wasting time. You stop living on autopilot. You stop waiting to feel inspired. You stop responding to life like a slave to circumstance. You wake up and you lead your day like it was designed for kings. Then let the final words strike deep, because this is the moment you stop running from your power and start walking in it. Understand this. You are not here to manage time. You are here to master it, to mold it, to lead it like a general leads an army with intention, with strategy, with unbreakable clarity. The reason most people stay broke isn't lack of money. It's lack of focus. The reason most people stay tired isn't lack of energy. It's lack of direction. And the reason most people die with regret isn't lack of talent. It's because they let their time be eaten alive by things that didn't matter. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you see time for what it really is. Not hours. Access. Not minutes. Moments of transformation. Not a clock ticking down, but opportunity disguised as ordinary. You were given a life not to spend it counting time, but to make your time count. So stop saying, I'm busy. Start saying, I'm building. Stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, I don't make time for things that don't build my legacy. You are not a manager of time. You are a leader of your destiny. And the way you schedule your day is the way you shape your future. From now on, your calendar is a declaration. Your habits are your vote. Your daily rhythm is your resume. And every moment, every single breath is either wasted in distraction or invested in greatness. So no more drifting, no more reacting, no more waiting for the world to give you permission. Wake up early, set the tone, move with intensity, build in silence. Protect your focus like gold. Design your life like an architect of destiny. Because time is not your enemy. Time is not your excuse. Time is not your weakness. Time is your test. And from this moment forward, you don't live by the clock. You live by calling. Let the world watch. Let the hours pass. Let the noise try to distract you. But you rise. You own every moment. And you make time bow to you.